So we're doing page קס"ט, ספר שמות, פרשת משפטים. ואלה המשפטים אשר תשים לפניהם. These are the laws, right, that you put in front of them. So it says here, הנה בפרשיות אלו, in the other parasha, right, last week, יתרו and משפטים, נאמרה פרשת קבלת התורה. So we have the parsha of receiving the Torah, which started, or the beginning was in parashat Yitro, on the 3rd month when we left Egypt, right? And all the preparation for receiving the Torah and the Ma'amad Har Sinai and the Ten Commandments. And then in the end of the end of this week's parsha, in Mishpatim, Ne'emar inyan ve'el Moshe amar, it says that, and Hashem, right, tell Moshe, Ale ela Elokim, go up to Hashem. And Rashi explained, Mefarish, right, that this parsha was told in the 4th of Sivan, prior to the Ten Commandments, right? Ubaemsa, in the middle, all the dinim, all the laws and the rule and the restrictions were saying in the middle of the parsha of Mishpatim. And it's appropriate. We need to understand why the Torah like suddenly started, right? We have Yitro, and then Kabbalat Torah, and then Ten Commandments, and then suddenly it stopped, and then again, like what's going on here? Indeed, our sages says, right, En mukdam u'muchar b'Torah. The Torah is not written in a chronological order, right? For example, it's look like event that happened in few verses actually spread all over few months or even few years or even 40 years, right? And they could be before and then it will be after. It's not 100% sure like which came first. This is what our sages says. En mukdam u'muchar b'Torah. However, it's known. It's not that it's happened randomly, right? Is an accident. Also, there is a divine meaning in it, and especially, right, significant thing when it stops here in the middle of one topic, it continues with a different topic. Then it says in Midrash Shemot Rabbah על הפסוק in Tehillim, מגיד דבריו ליעקב, חוקיו ומשפטיו לישראל. So Magid Dvarav was telling his words to Yaakov. These are the 10 commandments. חוקיו ומשפטיו, right? חוקיו ומשפטיו לישראל, these are the Mishpatim. Umashma mize, what do I understand? And from other sages, our sages' words, right? They explain that the Mishpatim are in the same level of Gedusha like the 10 Commandments, right? So we said before, almost the whole world know about the 10 Commandments. Even in our shuls, many of the shuls, they actually put like, the first 2 words of the 10 Commandments, right? Of each one, if each command you have like the 10 one on top of the ark, and the whole world can, I don't know if it can repeat and everybody remember it more or less by heart. The 10 Commandments, right? And everybody treat it, even the famous movie, right? The 10 Commandments with Charles Heston, right? Was called the 10 Commandments. So this is what almost the entire world know and respect, and they're 100% sure that this is what Hashem told us in Har Sinai, the 10 Commandments. But they said, yeah, but also the Mishpatim, right? And the Mishpatim are something that could be, very obvious, giving food to your animals, don't do this, don't do that. Something that, again, any civilization or community will come up with these things. And sometimes they are not boring, but they're obvious, right? They're not like having the prestige like the 10 Commandments. So
you remember when, I don't know if it was still before COVID, when Rabbi Zupnik said he doesn't know that if it wasn't written in the Torah, he would have come to these conclusions.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know that there are tribes that were never exposed to the modern world, and over there it's for sure they know that you're not supposed to take something that doesn't belong to you.
Right.
Do not steal, right? So humans do come with this type of rules, or not to cheat with somebody else's wife, right? You don't need the Torah for that. That's what I'm saying. And fine, yes, I think Rabbi Zupnik means that all the nuances, right? That's why we have Tam Elyon in the Sefer Dibrot, because again, do not murder, do not kill is obvious. However, if somebody is really suffering when he's sick, and you know that he's going to die in a week and there's no cure, so
Right.
let's end his suffering. But the Torah said no. So that's why the do not kill, it's not just the simple meaning of do not kill an innocent person or something. It's also not to kill somebody that is suffering. Or a baby that was just born and have no legs, no arm, is blind. They said, what's the point for him to live? He will just make his parents suffer. Let's end it. The Torah is telling Anyway, what our sages are saying here, that the Mishpatim, when the parsha start with something and then end with, or then stop that topic, continue the topic, etc., he said it just to show you that the Mishpatim and the Ten Commandments has the same level of Kedusha. I don't think that if you fulfill only the Ten Commandments, that's the best to do, and not the Mishpatim, or to neglect the Mishpatim. And he said, and it's appropriate, we should explain the high level, how come the Mishpatim has such kind of a high level? And furthermore, when it says, the Mishpatim נאמר לישראל, right? לא תביא לבית יעקב, so Yaakov is a lower level spiritually than Israel, which is Yashar El, which is a higher one. From מדבריו ליעקב. Again, Yaakov is like the hill, so it's a lower one. Or our sages says more in Masechet Shabbat, כל דיין שדן דין אמת לעמיתו, נעשה שותף לקדוש ברוך הוא מעשה בראשית. A judge, that his verdict, his judgment, is really according to the truth of the truth, become a partner with Hashem in the creation. So they put the judge that have a true judgment in the same higher level that we cannot really understand, that he become a partner to Hashem in the creation, in the Genesis. Because so what's the reason? Again, to teach us, to show us that the Mishpatim, that the judgment, again, it's not only the things that we're not allowed to do, it's the obvious things, or between a man and his neighbor, there was a dispute, somebody was, I don't know, they have the land and they're building their houses, and now where do you put the fence? And I build the fence from stone, and he wants to build it from wood, and my stone are thick. So where do I put the thickness one? If I'll start it from my borderline, then I'll go into the neighbor, 2 feet inside. Okay, that's my bricks. Am I allowed to do it? Do I have to do it half? The wall will be, I don't know. We build together a wall and the wall fall apart. Who's going to fix it, etc. I'm living in an apartment, and somebody's apartment is leaking and it's going all the way down. Who is paying for the fix? For the first one, for the second floor, etc. So a judge that his verdict is according to this law of the Torah, he become like a partner with Hashem. So what's the reason that the Torah is stopping in the topic of the Ten Commandments, continue with Mishpatim, to show us again that it's a very high Gedusha, the level is a very high level. And they said over there that the Mishpatim actually are the Ikar, the main topic of the Torah. ויש לומר, we should say, a biur and explanation, the החוקים והמשפטים, the laws and the rules that were given to us and they were written in the Torah, these are actually the body of the Torah. וכל דין תורה שנפסק על פיהם נעשה חלק מהתורה. And every dispute, every din, right, a verdict that was psak according to them, according to the Torah laws and Torah guidelines, become part of the Torah, right? And I'm saying, like, the Torah was not just giving to us in Mount Sinai the 5 Chumashim, right, and some of the oral Bible, which is the Gemara. The Torah has been written every day. Every time when a Rav have a psak, according to the Torah, that's the continuing of the Torah. Torah never stop. The Torah is dynamic. That's why I said it's Torat Chaim, and it's unbelievable to suddenly to understand that.
What's the word Torah? What?
The Torah is dynamic. The Torah is alive. The Torah has been written.
Oh, Chaim.
Chaim. Yeah, Chaim. Like when you say like Lechaim, Chaim tovim el shalom, right? So that's why he says, and this is the meaning, right? That every din Torah right? Even when Chas v'Chalila, the Beit Din made the psak that the husband need to divorce his wife, that's part of the Torah became the din, right? And that's the meaning of a Dayan Adan Din Emet Lamito. He become a partner to Hashem. Why? Because when he executed or he published, it, it it turned out to be alive, to be the judgment, the true judgment, according to the Torah, that din become part of the Torah. And who gave us the Torah? Hashem. So that's why the judge become partner to Hashem, with Hashem. וזה שאומר, and this, when it says, אחרי מגיד דבריו ליעקב, after we were saying his word to Yaakov, right? לא עשה כן לכל גוי ומשפטים בא לדום. Hashem didn't give the Torah or the laws to the goyim. They don't know. Why? Because again, their mishpatim, the rules, are based on their investigation, on being open mind, or based on experience. When somebody steals from somebody else, that one will go and retaliate and do this and do that. So let's have justice system and let's punish him, not let everyone to take the law into their hands, etc., etc. This is something that is building up, right? Based on time, on experience, and events that happen. They're using the brain to come up with things, and some of them are very good, right? Some of them are very good. But for example, I think there are countries like Israel or maybe like here, they say that if you want to donate your body, if chas v'chalila after somebody die, then you need to sign a special, I don't know, a special, some kind of a void letter or something that you, or on the driver license that you.
Driver's license. Just sign on your driver's license.
That's on the driver license that you are agreeing you're donating your organs. There are countries that it's the opposite. By default, everybody is a donor. If you don't want to, then you have to go and sign on a letter that you don't agree with that. So that's the country. This is what they decided, with all the implications to here and to there. So he said that's the goyim. That's why Hashem didn't give us the Torah. But Israel, we are having the dinim, the judgment, according to Hashem's dinim, Hashem law. Right? As our sages says in Masechet Brachot, Shlosha she'yosvim badin, 3 people that are judges, right? That they're sitting in the din, in the court. Shechina imahem. The Shechina is actually became a partner. And it seems to be like Yachol lemala. How is it? Okay, so now it's something to understand. Up there in heavens, it's a world of truth, no lies. It's the world of truth, right? Olam ha'emet. So over there, it's not relate to have a mistake, right? So, or mistake in a judgment, because we said, right, your words, Hashem, are true and they exist forever. But in the shikul adat gashmi yesh makom litot, when we are as human making, or we have that mechanism that help us to decide things, right? Making decision mechanism. Of course, we can make mistake. We don't have all the evidence, or we assume something wrong, or we don't like the person that's standing, but actually is innocent, but he doesn't look innocent, right? So there is a room for mistake. And also that mistake could be nullified, could be identified that it's a mistake, and maybe it's not true. But the Mishpatim of the Torah are true of the truth. Upirush halashon. So now it tried to explain what does it mean emet le'amito, the truth of the truth. So said we should say according to what it says in the Sfarim HaKadoshim. Amaseh yadua mibal Shem Tov HaKadosh, right? The stories we always remember. A person come to a judge, a big rav. He had a dispute or whatever was the case, and the judge, prosecuted him. Said that he's chayav, he's obligated, whatever, to pay compensation, to pay money, whatever. So that person asked the judge after. He said, "Look, I don't dispute the verdict because I know clearly, that the Torah is a true, and words of Hashem are truth, and it exists forever, right? So I know that. I know that. And I don't doubt that the verdict, right, was not a true verdict according to the Torah. However, I do know for myself that this is not what happened. And truly, I don't need to pay money, right, to the other side. So how are we going to reconcile that? I don't owe him money. I know it never happened, but I know that whatever the judge say, the Rav was saying, that's the truth. So it's a contradiction. How we can reconcile these two truths as one? So he answered, he replied, right? And now this is like on a Kabbalistic part, and he said it's known that in the previous reincarnation you owe money to that person, and therefore you came down, your soul came down to this world again, in order for you that the soul, right, will be paying back the debt from the previous reincarnation. And the debt was in such a way, according to what happened to you, that now, yeah, now you don't owe him anything, because otherwise it will be a double debt, right? We don't want to do that, right? So now, yeah, you not owe him anything. So it looked like the verdict was wrong. But no, the verdict was true, because it was on what you owe him from the previous reincarnation, right? So that's why this is how. ובזה מפרשים, מאן דאית בזוהר הקדוש, the says על הפסוק, right, ואלה המשפטים, הוא ניצז אלה המשפטים, these are the laws and the rule, right, that Hashem gave us, the Zohar explained, and it says, din raze de gilgulia, that this is the secret of the reincarnation. And we have so many stories about people that passed away and suddenly appear in a dream to their relative or to their sons, and they say, and it was a repeated dream, like, I owe money to this and that person, please go and pay him the money. And until the people were paying, and these people that appear in the dream, it means that they have a big schut, they have a merit, because it's not simple for somebody to appear in somebody else's dream to go back here to this world in order to finish his business here. So it happened many times, and it happened to people that, they're not hallucinating, they're not drunk people or on drugs or something, like big rabbanim that they know, and they went and actually they found out really that whatever their father or the grandfather, owe money to somebody, or he give, I don't know, shoes to fix, and he never paid that because, he said, okay, I'll pay you next week, etc. So the Zohar is saying,
these people really do not want to come back so badly that they have to appear in a
no,
dream.
they don't want to come back. However, because they owe money to somebody, they don't want to go back here to this world and be babies again and diapers and kindergarten.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why they appear in the dream, because they really don't want to come back. They really,
but still they need to have the merit that from Shamayim they will give them this opportunity to appear and to try and fix it here. That's not simple. That's not simple.
I got it.
Yeah. So the Zohar said this is the secret. That's the meaning of why people are reincarnate. So this is the meaning of emet la'amito, the true of the truth. Yes, here in this world, the guy didn't owe him any money, and it look like the judge was doing wrong, but no, the judge was doing right, even if the judge doesn't know, but he have help from Shemot. This is something that it's very difficult to understand that something chas v'chalila bad happened to us, and we blame everyone, and we blame this, and we blame that. Basically, it's from Shamayim because we deserve it. But it's very difficult to acknowledge that. Very difficult, right? Very difficult. I think we can maybe we can stop here, and we will continue Bezrat Hashem on Thursday. So we stopped here. That the Zohar said that this is the secret of reincarnation because we can reconcile this type of truth because the Torah is saying this is the truth of the truth, and it is mechuvan al pi hacheshbon. That this is how it aims. So Bezrat Hashem we will finish and we'll this part on Thursday. Thank you for
say it again. The truth of the truth.
The truth of the truth. Emet la'amito. There is one truth. So how can you say this is the truth of the truth?
Okay.
Yeah. So
it's just the way you try. By the way, real quick, I just saw this post. If you break out the name Biden, what base yud is what? What does that mean? They'd say